Hello again, time for another great video. This time I'm going to do a top 10 list because those are really popular on YouTube and I personally watch a lot of them. So I'm going to do the top 10 most undervalued cards. And I do mean not like they should be played more, although sure. I mean literally the dollar amount, the actual cost. Now that's near and dear to me because I sell a lot of singles on eBay. It's pretty much all I sell except for playsets, I guess you could argue, but still considered singles. So yeah, if a card's not worth a lot, and I know it's exceptional, and I put it in a deck and I'm winning with it, and everybody at F&M is winning with it, I know that the only reason it's not worth money is because somebody didn't show up to the world tournament and nobody's net decking with it, because apparently way too many people net deck, which, you know, I'm kind of on both sides of that issue. I kind of get it, but I'm generally against net decking. I don't do it personally. I don't even look what the net decks are half the time. But yeah, if it's not in a net deck, it usually isn't worth money. That is the magic golden rule. So that's, if you're wondering why a lot of these top 10 are not worth money, that's why. And it's unfortunate, but that's just how the game goes these days. Taking the number 10 spot is Hero of Go Masada. He has the arguably best rally effect, and he's a 4-3 for 5, and so Indestructible pairs great with a 4 attack and 3 toughness. 3 toughness is still killable, but hello, Indestructible. So if you mix it with the white retreat card, hey, you can drop in allies off turn by ditching a land, you know, an Evolving Wilds or fetch land, and you've got Indestructible on defense. I mean, this is insane. He's one of the best rally in any color, and by far the best rally in white. I guess people just think that allies should win faster than bringing out a 5 cost, but I think every deck should have at least 2 of these. I mean, at least rally. So he is worth a whopping 50 cents. I know, I can't believe it either. Number 9, Part the Water Veil. This one speaks for itself. Take an extra turn for 6. I mean, you don't even need Awaken, plus 9 is ridiculous, but take an extra turn for 6. I believe the last time you had to take an extra turn, it cost you 14 with a Delve. I think you could only delve it down to like 4. So, I know everybody says, oh, blue control, what are you going to do? Like, cancel the spells twice? No, you're going to do something stupid because you get 2 turns in a row. Use your creatures to do something weird. I don't know, Convoke isn't a thing anymore, but, if you're playing blue flyers, if you're playing, you know, blue taps, you could double tap them. Now, double the amount of creatures don't untap during their next upkeep, which is their next upkeep, not the next upkeep, so they do stack up that way. I just think this is fantastic. I think it's a great card. I mean, it sort of shrinks your deck a little bit because you get to draw again, so it might as well say draw a card because you draw during your upkeep, but you could just solely use it to stack your hand with 1 more anti-magic. I mean, it's blue. I mean, what are people waiting for? Plus, if you did it in a blue color mix, it's only double blue. I mean, it's really, really reasonable. I think that it should be worth more, but it comes in at an amazing $1.50. And I think it's only $1.50 because it's a mythic. Otherwise, it would be probably 50 cents. Next up at the number 8 spot, we've got Oran, Reef, Hydra. Now, as far as Hydras go, even going back to like M15, this is one of the better ones. You really would put this in a mono green landfall deck, which, you know, it isn't the most powerful deck in the world, but this would help. The other thing you could do is mix it in any kind of other mono green deck, or even a mixed deck, like an Atarka deck, and put it in Mana Gorge or Hydra, because then they're both getting bigger in an unstoppable way that the trigger can't be prevented for 2 different reasons. So they're both going to get out of control, and then this naturally has trample. You could never drop in another land for the rest of the game, and this guy would still just demolish everybody. And even before all the landfall assistance cards, like Sword of the Animist and all that, Nissa's Renewal, you could still get this out for 6. I mean, there still was green mana ramp, and now it's insane. I mean, you mix it with the Scions, and you could bring this guy out at, like, what, turn 3 or something? So, yeah, the whole double counter on a forest thing, that is just disgusting, because he could actually get bigger in a landfall deck a lot faster than Mana Gorger, and then if you're playing him, plus you're playing lands, you're casting spells more rapidly, so if you also have a Mana Gorger in the deck, and it's out, not only is it redundant, but if they go together, you win. I mean, simple as that. I mean, it's just outrageous. I don't believe this price. $1. Can you believe that? $1. You can no longer get a taco for that price at Taco Bell. Next up, we've got another card that takes up spot 7. It is From Beyond. This is the only repetitive Eldrazi Scion dropper that recurs without having to pay mana for it. In fact, I think it's actually the only one that recurs, period. So I really, really like this one. There might be one recurring one that's triggered that you have to pay for, I think, but that's it, and it's like 2 color. So, yeah, From Beyond, absolutely excellent. I think people don't like the 4, and it is in my deck, and 4 is a little rough, but, you know, especially when you have 4 mana, you want to be casting out a couple, like, 3/3s, 4/4s, that type of stuff, maybe some big defenders, because you got the, you know, maybe you got Ingest, maybe you got the blockers, maybe you've got that, the Jaddy Offshoot sitting there stalling. And then maybe you've also got a retreat for 3. Okay, so you've got, you know, the weird non-creature permanents out. So I could see this not fitting in a deck, but it is the only way that you can go get any Eldrazi card. In fact, in Modern, I believe there are Eldrazi spells, like Eldrazi tribal spells, so this is kind of more towards Modern, but even in Standard, you pay 2, sack it, and then you go search your library for an Eldrazi card. So it all just flows. As soon as you're done going or getting Scions for free every upkeep, either chump blocking or leaving them there for mana, you go get the Eldrazi and summon it. Done. It just works, because an Eldrazi deck these days, you don't want to have like 20 large Eldrazi just so that you can draw 1 or 2 by the time you need them. That's a waste of space and it causes mulligans. You know, it isn't a good draw on any turn really, unless when you need it is right when you pull it. So this is perfect because it just speeds up your deck. It gives you free mana, gives you free blockers, gives you free colorless creatures, and then you get to go get an Eldrazi. Unlike, Conduit of Ruin, you get to actually put the card in your hand, not on the top of your deck, so it doesn't ruin your next turn. So I just think this is the better version of Conduit of Ruin, and those are the 2 in my deck that I use to fetch whatever Eldrazi I want, like one of the really big ones when I need it. Believe it or not, From Beyond is $3, which I think that's actually up a little bit. I don't think that was the opening price. So, you know, $3 isn't bad. Any $3 rare, at least people are somewhat respecting it. So it has come up a little bit. Speaking of that, the 6th place spot is Oblivion Sower. This actually almost didn't make the cut because at the site I was looking at, which has pretty accurate prices, they ranked this at $8, and I swear it was not $8 yesterday, and it certainly wasn't a week ago. But I kind of think they're on another planet with that for now. I mean, I love them for pricing it there, but on eBay it's about $5. So, pretty big discrepancy there. They're only off by about 10 to 15% usually where I check it. So, yeah, so Oblivion Sower, allegedly $8. Hopefully that's what it realistically hits, because it's just utterly fantastic for one simple reason. It's a 5/8 for 6, which means it's perfect at blocking, it's amazing at offense. So they have to deal with it, but then whether the spell gets canceled or not, hello, target opponent exiles the top 4 cards of his or her library, then any card that has ever been put into exile for any reason by any card, as long as it's a land, you get it. And I've double hit, triple hit, I've actually quad hit on this before, all 4. I use this in a non-ingest deck, and I have 3 of them, because if you pull it, you're good. I mean, even if it's in an opening hand, it doesn't take that long to get to 6 in an Eldrazi deck. So this one is perfect because you, unlike the Scions, you get to tap those lands for the rest of the game. And if you're playing primarily colorless, who cares what color they are? I mean, and then, even better, they count for landfall because they came from out of the game in exile and entered the battlefield. So I actually triggered landfall on 2 retreats and 1 Jaddy, 3 times by triple hitting this. So I played just the Oblivion Sower, no ingest, grabbed 3 lands out of the top 4, and then I gained, 2/2/1, 2/2/1, 2/2/1 life. So 15 life. They basically scooped right after that. They looked at their top card and scooped. So if you can do that before you even get out your 8 to 10 cost, hello. But like I said, $8 in pretend land, $5 on eBay, also known as reality, so it's getting up there. So at least that one is correcting. That's why it's not number 1. Taking up the number 5 spot, we're getting really serious from 5 on up. These cards, like, the ones below them, I kind of get it. They're a little particular, they're powerful, but they don't fit in every deck. I guess this one doesn't either, but come on, it's Quarantine Field, people. during the spoilers and pre-release, everybody was all excited about this. If you pulled this in pre-release, you were doing pretty good. So it's definitely a limited bomb. Because, you know, the high mana, very doable, but it's even more doable and constructed if you're purposely doing landfall. So I absolutely love it. But the key to this one is if you pay 4, it's kind of pointless because you could have just paid 3 for the other really similar card. I'm trying to think what it is. Stasis Field. So it's like, why would you do that? And then to get any decent use out of it comparatively, you have to pay 6. But paying 6 is not that hard. In white, there's not a lot of landfall compared to allies. It's kind of allies is white's thing, but you can still do it. It's still very doable. I mean, once you get to 6, that's when you want to really get rid of their stuff that they have it on the field. And by stuff, I mean stuff. It says non-land permanent. So you could get rid of artifacts. You can get rid of Sword of the Animist. I mean, that card's probably kicking your butt if you're playing the right deck. You could get rid of their most powerful creature. They could have just brought out, I don't know, something horrible. We'll say Desolation Twin. You could just nuke both of them. I mean, this is really simple. And then when a token, like a Scion, goes into exile, it doesn't come back when you blow up Quarantine Field. And speaking of that, there's almost no enchantment removal, and the most common decks you would play this against really don't have enchantment removal. So I know the Felidar Cub, I mean, that's one, but most people don't play like white giant Eldrazi, so this card is just unspeakably perfect. And they've only got it at $3.50. I guess for a mythic that is kind of low, it's sort of respectable. I just think it should be $7, $8, $9, closer to that. Especially since I have a foil one, which is worth about $7. Next up in the number 4 spot, we have got a card which I have touched on before, Zada, the Heatran Grinder. Everybody loves him. Just kidding. Nobody plays with him. He's a 3/3 for 4. I think people think that's too late for a Goblin deck, but if you're doing like Goblin Landfall, which would be kind of weird, or hell, just throw him in an Allies deck. He's an ally. Why does he have to go in a Goblin deck just because he's a Goblin? But anyway, whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell that targets only him, which I think Strive has been removed from the game, so sure, why not? Copy. Excuse me, got the hiccups. Copy that spell for each other creature you control that the spell would target. So each copy targets a different one of those creatures. So like I said, Defiant Strike in my past video, you get to draw like 6-7 cards. Become Immense, you would just win the game. Anything that grants Trample plus a bonus, like +2/+2 Trample. I think that was like Tread Upon, but I think there's an even better version of it now. I think there's another one that says +2/+2 and draw a card. I mean, these are all green, but hey, who doesn't play green-red? Especially green-red, like a target control with all the command cards and stuff. I just really think he would fit in a non-Goblin deck, which is why I'm shocked that he's not worth more. If you're wondering what his price is, he is actually slashed down on sale. They actually have him on sale, which I didn't know was a thing on this website I was looking up the price on. $2.25. Now, he is definitely worth more than that, people. Come on. There's so many ways to exploit this. Next up, taking the number 3 spot instead of number 1, because it actually honestly almost didn't make the list. This at launch time was a joke. I don't remember what it was. I think it was like $2.99 or something. But for 1 red mana, you get a 1/1. So yes, everybody and their grandma will be able to blow him up, but whatever. At the beginning of your upkeep, if you control 6 or more lands, which is super simple to do in most decks that would hold this guy, put a 5/5 red dragon creature token with flying on the battlefield. Now, BFZ and honestly Origins and pretty much everything else other than pure dragons decks, they have trouble with flyers. There's actually not even that many ways to remove creatures anymore or kill them, and those aren't popular decks. So if you get out a whole bunch of flyers, you're dead. I mean, I keep losing to that Jeskai deck with a whole bunch of, I don't know, dragons in it, and who else was in there? Mantis Rider, all that. That's all you need is like Mantis Rider and that ghost with 3/3 vigilance. Yeah, you'll beat somebody with that. So you bring out 5/5 dragons. This isn't even legendary, and you could drop out 4 of them on a turn. It's not even that unreasonable. So Bile Blight is gone, Drowning Sorrows is gone. So drop out 4, win the game. I mean, simple as that. So I had a lot of trouble playing a deck with this guy in it. I managed to just by sheer luck out-hit him with my giant Eldrazi, or he had to repeatedly block with multiple dragons to not die due to my trampling Eldrazi or my Desolation Twins. So any other deck that didn't have gigantic Eldrazi in it that came out right on time, I would have lost. I actually lost the middle game to him in the 2 out of 3. So this is fantastic. Now, you mix him with Omnath, which also gets elemental tokens that are 5/5s, and they're on the ground. When they die, the person who killed them, I guess, loses 3 life. Hello. So if you get enough of them out, you can't really lose unless they mass exile them or something. That's kind of hard to do. Yay, Quarantine Field. Throwback. But there's also one where every time a land comes into play, you pay, I think, 3, and then you get a 3/1 elemental with haste until end of turn. So he was running all 3 of those, and it was frightening, because then he had a Tarka's Command in there and a couple really bad green cards. So this is up to $7 right now. I think that's close. I mean, I'd maybe pay 10 for it, because it's free flying dragons. You don't even, there's no trigger, I guess. I mean, it's more like a condition, but there's no trigger, so it happens every single upkeep. You don't have to pay for them. They don't come in tapped. I mean, it's just dragon attack. I absolutely love it. I mean, it's kind of like Descent of Dragons, which also, you know, wasn't a terribly popular card. There was one trick deck with it, but I just think this should be worth more. We're almost there, and I almost didn't want to put this one in, but number 2, Void Winnower. Everybody knows by now, if you've seen any of my videos, I hate Void Winnower. It never should have been printed. Which, if you flip that around, why the heck is it only $3.50? And honestly, I think it was a little bit lower at launch time. Really hasn't moved much. I know it hasn't ever hit, like, $10, which is what it should be worth, probably more. This is definitely in the top 3. I mean, this Ulamog and your choice of any of the others, depending upon the deck, would be perfect for an Eldrazi deck. Like I said, I run a deck with 5 giant Eldrazi in it, and I go fetch with 8 different cards. Well, 8 cards, 2 sets of 4, not different cards. I go fetch whatever Eldrazi I want and I think is most appropriate for the time being, depending upon what the opponent has on the field and how I want to win. It's almost always Void Winnower. Once in a while, it's the guy, the Breaker of Armies, that forces everybody to block. But, yeah, this is just huge. I mean, a lot of spells have even costs, especially creature removal, so then you have trouble getting rid of Void Winnower, and then it kind of does the exact same thing as Breaker of Armies, where everybody's forced to block just Breaker of Armies, and the rest just get through. On this one, creatures with even converted mana costs cannot block at all. Not just they can't block him, they can't block, period. So you're going to get the rest of your guys through, and they're going to have to block this one because it's an 11/9, and they probably won't kill it. So this card is just unspeakably powerful. I just don't understand why it's not at the very least above $5. Finally, taking the number 1 spot. Some of you might have already guessed it because a lot of your other guesses were already in the top 9 here. I should say bottom 9 or whatever. But it's got to be Endless One. This is $2.50 US. I mean, what? Let me break it down this way. There's really only one way to explain this properly. I read this on the internet, so it must be true. There are approximately 101, give or take, creatures with similar functions, where X determines the number of +1/+1 counters that it comes out with, and this is deemed the number 1 best one out of all of them. So out of all the variable cost creatures, this is the best one ever printed. So it should be in half the modern decks in the world. I mean, it's perfect on turn 1, perfect on turn 2, perfect on turn 3, perfect on turn 50, perfect on turn 10. I mean, it's just, what the heck is going on? I mean, I even stockpiled a couple of these because they're going in every deck. Assuming I have a slot for it, because it's colorless. I mean, there's no special condition. It doesn't come out tapped. It's not like Chimeric Mass where you have to pay 1 to make it become a creature. As soon as you bring this out for 4/4, that's usually the borderline. Like 3 toughness, okay, you're doing okay, but they might be able to remove it. But 4, then if you really want to dodge a Languish, 5, go for it. I mean, once you know what's in their deck, once you know what's in their hand, just cast it at 1 above what will kill it. I mean, simple as that. And then if they have Smite the Monstrous, cast it at 3. I mean, this is the most flexible, perfect card. It is the perfect creature. I just can't think of a deck where I'd rather have a different creature as far as just a mundane creature that I don't need like a trigger or an effect or a property. So, yeah, he's not like an ally. Yeah, he doesn't have flying. Everybody says, oh, what if he had trample? If he had trample, people would quit the game. I mean, Could you imagine this guy in every deck for the next year with Trample? I mean, you wouldn't even have to have a landfall deck. You could just summon him for 4 and win the game by swinging over and over and over on, honestly, turn 4, 5, or 6, because he'd probably have the mana. This really is the star of my deck. I put, I believe, 4 of them in here because I just don't care when I pull it. If it's in my opening hand, great. If I top deck it on turn 18, great. I mean, I've brought him out for, I think, 14 in a real match, and it was a close match. But as soon as I brought him out, it was over. The only slight flaw is that you can't fetch him with Conduit of Ruin, but here's the fun part. If you choose the value of X to be 10, then it gets reduced by 2 by Conduit of Ruin. You actually pay 8 mana to bring him out, and he actually comes out with 10 counters. So if you have any kind of creature cost reduction, which brings me back to Modern, hello, you could put him in, I believe, like a zoo deck, I would think, if you have all kinds of stuff that's reducing costs and, you know, just pounding out creatures. That might not be the most appropriate deck to put this in, but I could see it. I mean, and then he's colorless. So you don't have to worry about anybody, you know, blowing up a colored creature. Like most of the spells that are out right now that remove creatures, they're tied to a color, or he has to be multicolored or monocolored or like the same color or something like that. So he's just so perfect. He's immune to stuff naturally, and you can bring him out whenever you want. I don't understand why people don't play with him. If I even had to look for a vague downside to Endless One, I would say if you somehow freecast him, manifest him, whatever, he'd die instantly, I guess. If you try to replicate him, he'll die. Not really relevant in Standard. I mean, I just don't see a big downside to this guy. I mean, if you are stuck with 9 sets of 4 cards and you're just looking for something to stick in your deck that won't make it worse, this is usually the answer. Because like I said, turn 1, great, bring him out as a 1-1 to block somebody's 1-1. You know, whatever. Whatever you have to do. I guess he's not flying, but could you imagine if he was? They'd have to add at least a couple mana to the cost. So I could talk all day about Endless One and how unfair it is and how he should be the best card in the world, which he is, but yeah, $2.50, like I said, absolutely terrible. Now, I guess we'll end on a positive note. We got 50 cents, $1.50, $3, $8 they claim, $3.50, $2.25, $7, $3.50, and $2.50. Those are all pretty reasonable, pretty much at any budget. I mean, if you look at just the cost to build a deck in the deck holder and the sleeves, you know, $1.50 isn't going to kill you. So that's the good news. You could build a super powerful deck with these super hyper powerful cards that just got neglected in net decks. I mean, I guess nobody just showed up with these in the deck yet and did well. So take advantage of the low cost. I really think that all of these should be in top level decks. I mean, they're all just fantastic, every single one of the 10. So buy them while you can. I bet if you're watching this video quite a bit later, a couple weeks later, some of these will have jumped up significantly. Not all of them, because it never works that way, but probably some of them, maybe after the next national tournament of some sort. But yeah, the good news is just go out and buy them, put them in a deck. You might spend, you know, $10 or less on a set of 4 of them. So if I had to pick a silver lining, that would be it, I guess. Hopefully we'll have some more interesting, informative videos, not just top 10 rant videos, but if you have an idea for a video, I'd love to cover it, because usually, as you know, my ideas are idiotic. Usually they turn out comical, but I'd love to hear what you guys want to think, so leave it in the comments section, and I will see you next time.